Hello, everyone. So, this is just going to be a video about bipolar disorder versus major depressive disorder and sort of why I think I'm bipolar, and I think that it's not, it has certain things that make it better than major depressive disorder. The main thing is that even though I go very long periods, sometimes years of depression, I have the hope that I'll flip and feel different. And people with major depressive disorder don't have that hope because they've never felt better. And treatment is not always effective, medication isn't always effective. There's some brand new revolutionary treatments that seem to be helping. They they zap a certain part of your brain and it can cure depression in a lot of people. But overall, there's no real cure for it. And with my bipolar disorder, I go between feeling very, very depressed, feeling normal, and then I would have periods of feeling manic, but I'm very, 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 very stringent and careful about my medication and countermeasures to make sure I don't go manic. Because when you go manic, you can get yourself in trouble, and you don't want to be in trouble. So, if you are another bipolar person, please, please, please make sure you don't go full on manic and land yourself in prison or spend all your money or something. Even though the depression sucks and I know you want it to flip and I know you just want to feel good again, it's not worth the insanity of mania. Your target should be the middle road, which is hard to achieve, but that has to be your target. There are some bipolar people who don't do anything when they're manic because it feels so amazing. But even though it feels amazing, it makes you do irrational things. So, you know, it mania can make you hurt the people around you, and that's much worse than hurting yourself. Categorically, it's worse. So, I choose depression over mania even though depression feels like dog shit because at least I don't hurt the people around me. Now, I want to segue into what people with major depressive disorder and bipolar should do. Currently, you might notice that my background's different. It's because I'm in a rehabilitation clinic for depression. I'm here for between 30 and 45 days. Today's day 12. And I came here for depression specifically, not substance abuse, but depression. And I've been passively suicidal for many years now, since my last manic phase and then before that manic phase, which only lasted like 2 weeks. So, um, I decided that I couldn't hack it anymore. I wanted to not be passively suicidal anymore because it started to have not only a mental effect but a physical effect where I haven't been going to the doctor or getting blood work or anything because I didn't care. I wanted to die. And I haven't been taking care of myself. I've been eating horrible and just not caring at all because I didn't want to be alive. And, you know, how can you live like that for years? I finally decided to do something, so I just stopped with my life and came here to a place where I can get intensive therapy and change up my meds under observation. And in general, just try to get better and build a basis, build a life for myself, and live a life where I want to be alive, live a life where I appreciate my life and feel good about myself. So, if you're very close to suicide, like I was, I think that you should look into rehab for depression. You don't have to be a drug addict to go to rehab. And I know it's extremely expensive, but in my case, my insurance covered it. So it's worth looking into because your insurance might cover it. I just had to pay $1,000. Normally, normally a stay like this would be $60,000, but I only had to pay 1,000, and my insurance is covering the rest. And I didn't know that that was even an option. The reason why I never went to rehab is because it's like, in principle, I could afford it, but I don't want to burn 60K on a month of rehab when I'm not even sure if it's going to work. Because I might end up still depressed with a lot less money. So, I'd rather buy a house, you know, down payment for a house, or a condo, rather. So, look into it. I feel like personally it's helped me. I'm not passively suicidal. Well, I still am largely passively suicidal, but I've discovered an outlet, a way out. I can see hope now in front of me. I have hope for the future. And that's because I've been through a lot of self esteem exercises with a therapist. I'm gonna link in the description a lecture on major depressive disorder that you can watch that basically talks about how the disease works. And depression in general, bipolar people experience depression. Even if they don't have major depressive disorder, they cycle between depression and mania. Um, the point of that lecture is just to give you a better understanding of what's happening to you in your brain. And the problem with depression, guys, is that it turns you into a pessimist, and pessimists are more accurate at predicting the future as far as the rest of the world goes. So, if you have a pessimistic outlook on everything, you're going to be right more often than the average person because the average person has an optimism bias. This is explained in the lecture. People have an optimism bias. So, by being a pessimist, you're wiser, you're better at predicting outcomes. Except in one very important area. That area is in regards to yourself. In regards to yourself, you are delusional, Mr. Depressed Person. You have delusions about your lack of self worth. You have delusions about how other people feel about you. You have delusions about your potential. You have delusions about your character. Unless you actually are a horrible person, in which case, fuck you. But most people aren't horrible people. Most depressed people aren't horrible people. But they think they are because they're delusional. I thought I was basically the worst kind of person in the world. Somebody who doesn't actualize their potential. A complete failure. A useless, lazy piece of crap. It's how I feel about myself. And that's being helped by this rehab. It's still there, but I'm starting to see a way out. For me, a major issue, a major barrier is vocation. I don't have a vocation that makes money, and you need one, unfortunately, you just do. So you have to figure out what you can do to make money that makes you feel at least somewhat fulfilled or makes you feel like you're at least helping a little bit. I've just been working so that I don't starve. That's my only motivation, and it's not enough because you have to do it for 40 years. And you can only push yourself so hard over 40 years if you're depressed because you don't want to be alive in the first place. So you have to push yourself and do stuff you hate every single day. But you don't want to be alive in the first place. And that's a very dangerous combination. So for me, vocation is a main barrier. I have to find something that I'm passionate about that makes money. Because unless you get very lucky, your creative endeavors aren't going to be enough to earn a paycheck. Obviously, I have creative endeavors. I have this YouTube channel, I make video games, and I write science fiction. Those are my three creative endeavors. None of them are going to let me live. None of them are going to feed me unless I get extraordinarily lucky. And that's my dream, is to get extraordinarily lucky and become a famous sci-fi author. That's my dream. I want to be a famous sci-fi author. But you better be damn fucking good at writing sci-fi and at marketing and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm not there yet. And the amount of effort and time that it takes to get there is very high. And with working every day, it saps so much of my energy because it makes me feel like crap. And so I don't feel like writing when I come home because I'm just so down. Now, to a certain extent, working just sucks. It just does. You can't get around it. But there's certain ways to work that don't feel as bad or that don't feel as unfulfilling. For me personally, I have discovered that I like helping individual people with their mental health because I find it much more rewarding than what I do now. Because what I do now is manufacturing, it's providing people with material things. But I don't think we in America, I don't think our problem is that we don't have enough material things. I think our problem is mental health. So I feel like I'm doing a better job of contributing to society by helping people with their mental health. And I have life experience with mental health disorders. I know what it's like to put a loaded gun to your head. I know what it's like to not want to be alive. I know what it's like to feel that way. And if I manage to come out of it and cure myself, then I'll be able to help other people that also feel that way because I'll have my experience to share. So, right now, that's the source of my hope is that I'll be able to do something that both feeds me and helps people in a way that they actually need. Because we don't need material things anymore. So, that is kind of the vocational calling that I have been leaning into, and it gives me hope for the future. And it makes me feel like maybe I'm not actually a useless piece of dog shit. Or at least maybe I could not be in the future because I am right now. Um, so yeah, um, I think that really depressed people should look into rehab and see if their insurance covers it. If you're lucky enough to be in that kind of situation where you even have health insurance. And if you don't have health insurance, you really, 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 really need to focus on finding a vocation. But the problem is when you're depressed, it's very, very difficult just to get out of bed. It takes a Herculean amount of effort and willpower just to get out of bed and do anything at all. So I have problems with hygiene, like I have problems with showering enough and eating healthy and brushing my teeth and doing all that because when I'm depressed, I just don't care. I don't know how else to describe it. I just don't care. I don't give a fuck about anything. But while I'm here in rehab, I've really been working on those things. I've made sure to shower on time, brush my teeth every night, do everything right. And eating healthy has helped a lot. So I would first recommend exercise and diet. I know it's hard. I know you don't want to. I know you don't care. But just do your best to try it. Um, while I'm here, I decided that I was going to just try to do all those things. And I do feel better, guys. I do. I'm not preoccupied with dreaming, fantasizing about death all day like I normally do. So, you know, there's ways to help yourself. And I know some people that are against psychiatry, and all I can say is don't be an idiot and take your damn meds. All right? That's the other thing. And don't drink alcohol. You can smoke weed sometimes, you'll survive, but don't drink alcohol. It's really bad. If you need some weed at times, not all the time, but if you need weed sometimes just as a way out, I don't think that's going to kill you. But alcohol will. So choose weed over alcohol if you have to do a drug. And obviously, don't do hard drugs. That's a path to complete destruction. So while I'm here in rehab, I'm completely sober. And it's been pretty nice because you'll realize that your addictions are kind of married to each other. Like, I was addicted to marijuana and video games, but I wasn't addicted to those things because I was physically dependent. I was addicted because I was depressed and it was my only way to escape. So now that I have healthier, better ways to escape, I don't even crave weed or video games. It's not like I'm missing it. I'm not missing it at all. I'm glad that it's in the past. So, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world if you let go of your addiction. I know it feels like it when you're addicted, but it's not the end of the world. The other things that are important are working towards the social life and connecting with people. Obviously, you need that. I have family and a partner, but my family relationships are superficial. So, really, I just have a partner. And thank God for that. I probably wouldn't be around if I didn't. Um, but I don't have any friends in the area. My college friends live very far from me, so I need to find a local social life where I see people in real life and socialize with them. And that's something that the way I'm doing that personally is by getting into Warhammer 40K, the tabletop game. And I figure I can make friends just by showing up and playing. Over time, I'll make friends. So pick some hobby and try to meet people that way, and you'll feel better. Anyway, I guess this video is already 22 minutes. I'll just leave it at that for now. I'll make more videos on mental health as I hopefully continue to improve. And yeah, that'll be it. So thank you.